Hello, everyone. My name is Sharnice Lagrone, as Ida mentioned, and I will be singing this song. This song just encourages you to take action, to stand up for what you believe in, and not care about what other people may think or what other people may say. Just know that God is with you, and you can do it if you keep pushing forward.
You've got the words to change a nation, but you're biting your tongue. You spend a lifetime stuck in silence, so pray you'll say something wrong. If no one ever hears it, how we gonna learn your song? So come on, come on, come on, come on. You got a heart as loud as lion, so why let your voice be tame? Baby, we're a little different, there's no need to be ashamed. Light to fight the shadows, stop hiding it away. Come on, come on. I wanna sing, I wanna shout, I wanna scream till the words dry out. Put it in all of the papers, I'm not afraid. They can read all about it, read all about it. At night we're waking up the neighbors while we sing away the blues, making sure that we're remembered, yeah, 'cause we all matter too. If the truth has been forbidden, we were breaking all the rules. Come on, come on. I wanna sing, I wanna shout, I wanna scream till the words dry out. Put it in all of the papers, I'm not afraid. They can read all about it, read all about it. They can read all about it. Yeah, we're all wonderful, wonderful people. So when did we all get so fearful? Now we're finally finding our voices. So take a chance, come help me sing this. Yeah, we're all wonderful, wonderful people. So when did we all get so fearful? Now we're finally finding our voices. So take a chance, come help me
That was a wonderful performance, Charnice. I actually really, really love that song. Okay, up next we have Jason Fitzpatrick is a SLA facilitator and tutor in the Academic Support Center. Today we will present a virtual speech on the today he will perform a virtual speech on the impact MLK quotes has made on his life. Please welcome him to the virtual stage.
Hello, my name is Jason Fitzpatrick, and I want to talk about two quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as they relate to an ideal which we may strive towards, both for educators and for students. King says, "Rarely do we find men who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There is an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think." Often it is easy to believe that skills taught, such as critical thinking or an eagerness to engage with material, stop being useful outside of the classroom. But this could not be further from the truth. Actively engaging and critically interpreting the information we consume is essential to be a good friend, worker or employee, and citizen. Discernment is the cornerstone of a healthy mind. This is not the only contribution King has made to the subject of education. Although short, this next quote gets right to the point. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Exploring this further, we see how Dr. King shows that both intelligence and character are necessary together to bring about education. Only knowledge enacted through virtue construct a history worth emulating.
Thank you for that, Jason. Up next, we have Gamma Phi Omega International Sorority Incorporated was founded on April 17, 1991 in Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. And their motto is unity and sisterhood, now and forever, one and inseparable. Today, they will share a poem, A Man's Worth by Celilian Green. Please welcome them to the virtual stage.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eleanor Campos, and I will be reading you guys a poem today. January 15, 1929 was the birthday of the man who was called to combat hate, the man who wanted freedom to ring, the man of peace, Dr. Martin Luther King. He was a minister with a voice that resonated in your soul, a freedom fighter who only lived to be 39 years old. As you speak or hear others call his name, as you remember his voice or the public acclaim, as you consider Dr. King's legacy and his worth, there are countless reasons to celebrate his birth. Yet there are some questions that can be asked about how he completed his life's task. Did he help somebody along life's way? Did he call on God? Did he faithfully pray? Did he preach about love, freedom, justice, and peace? Has the need for his preaching ceased? Did he speak and work to serve his people and his nation? Did his teaching strengthen the world's foundation? Were there enemies who hated him, who he reviled? Did hatred stop him from walking his mile? Did he write a letter from a Birmingham jail? Did he ask others to pray for him so he wouldn't fail? Do you remember the dream he openly shared? Do you recall his love for his people and that he really cared? Who joined him in his fight against poverty and discrimination? Did you help him without reservation? In 1968, too soon did violence take him away. Does his legacy continue to have something to say? When you hear the name Martin Luther King Jr., do you balance his burdens with his sense of humor? Do you remember his smile? Could you walk in his shoes for half a mile? Do you recall the man, the brother, the father, the husband, or the son? Do you remember this country before his work was begun? Was there a Nobel Prize for this noble man, a man of vision who had the courage to stand for peace, for justice, for freedom, for love, to stand ready to meet his creator, God above? During Reverend King's short time on this earth, is the world better because of his birth? These are some questions you might ask about the man in whose legacy we now bask. Yet there is no question about Dr. King's value or his worth. There is no question about why this nation celebrates his birth. He came and left this nation, this world profoundly changed. For his work, a national memorial bears his name. The memorial honored Dr. King's visionary plan, a plan for justice, love, peace, and freedom for every man. So put your hands together and boldly stand. Stand and applaud the life of this extraordinary man. Stand and commit to doing the work that remains to be done, the work needed to heal this nation and its people one by one. Stand and truly honor this honorable man, then ask, am I doing the very best I can to preserve his vision and fulfill his plan? Thank you.
Thank you, Gamma Phi Omega International Sorority. That was a great poem. Okay. Sigma Lambda Gamma National Sorority Incorporated was founded at the University of Iowa in Iowa City, Iowa on April 9, 1990. And their motto is culture is pride, pride is success. Today, their presentation will be a poem called Dream Variations by Langston Hughes, Please welcome them to the virtual stage.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nina. I'm going to be reading you guys a poem by Langston Hughes today that is a contribute to why Dr. Martin Luther King wrote the I Have a Dream speech. And I'm going to read the poem to you guys now. It says, to fling my arms wide in some place of the sun, to whirl and to dance till the white day is done, then rest at a cool evening beneath the tall tree, while night comes on gently, dark like me. That is my dream. To fling my arms wide in the face of the sun, to dance, whirl and whirl, till the quick day is done. Rest at pale evening, a tall slim tree, nothing coming tenderly, black like me. It was said that because of this poem, that Dr. Martin Luther King finally saw that someone else shared his dream. And he went on to write the I Have a Dream speech. And when he saw that Langston Hughes wrote this poem and was saying how he wanted to live in a society that was not racially judgmental and wanted a better future, he started to write the I Have a Dream speech. And when it's one part in the I Have a Dream speech that's like, I dream of a time where while little white girls and little black girls can be one. And it was because of that poem by Langston Hughes that Dr. Martin Luther King wrote it. So thank you guys for your time.
Thank you for that poem, Sigma Lambda Gamma National Sorority Incorporated. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is a historically African-American sorority founded on January 13, 1913 at Howard University in Washington, D.C. The organization was founded by college-educated women dedicated to public service with an emphasis on programs that assist the African-American community. And their motto is, intelligent is the torch of wisdom. Their tribute presentation today will be a poem called Nikki Rosa by Nikki Giovanni. Please welcome them to the virtual stage.
Hi, everybody. My name is Hazel Williams. I'm going to be reading a poem by soror Nikki Giovanni. And as always, I am a feelings person, so I want you to actually tune into your feelings after reading this or after listening to this. Childhood remembrances are always a drag if you're Black. You always remember things like living in Woodlawn with no inside toilet. And if you become a famous person or something, they never talk about how happy you were to have your mother all to yourself and how good the water felt when you got your bath from one of those big tubs that folk in Chicago barbecue in. And somehow when you talk about home, it never gets across how much you understood your feelings. As the whole family attended meetings about Hollydale, and even though you remember, your biographers never understand. They never understand your father's pain as he sells his stock and another dream goes. And though you're poor, it isn't poverty that concerns you. And though they fought a lot, it isn't your father's drinking that makes a difference, but only that everybody is together and you and your sister have happy birthdays and very good Christmases. And I really hope no white person ever has cause to write about me because they never understand Black love and Black wealth. Black love is Black wealth. And they'll probably talk about my hard childhood and never understand that all the while I was actually quite happy. This poem basically talks about how even though you'll try to understand as a non-person of color, you probably won't, but you can always keep trying.
I really like that poem. I really did. Thank you for that, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was founded on December 4th, 1906 at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. And their motto is, first of all, we shall transcend all. Tonight, they will present a virtual presentation signifying the impact MLK made with voting rights in the US.
My bad. So we're gonna start off with Dr. MLK Jr. and Alpha. So if you didn't know, Dr. King became a member of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated in 1952 through the Sigma chapter at Boston University, where he was studying for his doctorate in philosophy. And in these two pictures below, on the left, this is him receiving an Alpha Award. And then on the right, he's to the far right at the bottom. Okay, so next we have Voteless People is a Hopeless People. So this is one of our 4 national programs that we have to complete throughout the year. And it was introduced in the 1930s when many African Americans faced voter suppression, which is things like preventing them from voting at polls or threats of appraisal, lack of education, things about that. And this kind of led into what Dr. King really wanted to implement throughout his time of civil rights activism. So he wanted to improve our African American rights to vote, and helped Alpha along with that with this program.
My fault. Um, well, what we're trying to do is highlight MLK's efforts in voter registration and voter suppression. So, like with us in our national programs, which Martin Luther King is Alpha and we are Alphas, and one of our national programs is getting people to vote, having given them information about how to vote, and also registering people to vote. And Martin Luther King was also a big impact on getting the Voting Rights Act passed, which on August 6, 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act and law, calling the day of triumph for freedom as huge as any victory that's ever been won on the battlefield. That's what Lyndon B. Johnson said. And then the law became active 7 months after Martin Luther King launched a Southern Christians Leadership Conference, also known as the SCLC, campaign based in Selma, with the aim of pressuring Congress to pass such legislation. And as you all know, if you've seen the movie and just heard about Selma or read about Selma in high school and in your history books, that's when African Americans in Southern towns, they were harassed, intimidated, and assaulted when they sought to register to vote. Civil rights activists met with fierce resistance to this campaign, which attracted national attention on March 7, 1965, when civil rights workers were brutally attacked by white law and law enforcement officers on a march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. And at the bottom is just a quote that really resonates with me because, back then Blacks weren't, they were allowed the right to vote, but we had to go through these different barriers and hoops and things that others didn't. And Martin Luther King said, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. And then this is just how we carry for our national program today and just carry forward what Martin Luther King fought for and what many others fought for, just not even through Selma, but just even the events that led up before the March on Selma, from Selma to Montgomery. So these are just pictures which we haven't did in recent years as far as getting people registered to vote, just simply because how things have went with COVID. But this is just some pictures that you see of previous alphas here at Ferris that some of you may know, like Arshano and Josh. And we were getting people registered to vote. And then the one in the top, the picture in the top right is back in my hometown in Flint. The Alphas back in Flint, I collaborated with them and we went door to door, getting people registered to vote. And we also went door to door, giving them information about where they were to vote, like in their certain area and things like that, just so that they can have their right to vote. And like Martin Luther King said, our lives end the day we stop expressing the things that we need to live for. So we just want to honor Dr. MLK as our frat brother, and we want to honor his efforts with the efforts that we implement with ourselves today.
Great presentation, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Up next, we will have Hazel Williams, which is my friend. Hazel Williams is currently an undergrad student in the dental hygiene program at FSU. Today, Hazel joins us to share a poem, Won't You Celebrate Me, with Lucille Clifton. Please welcome her to the virtual stage.
I don't know if you can see me. Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into, a kind of life I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. This poem, I chose this poem because as a non-white woman, the representation for us in all things of life, such as love, careers, and things of that nature is very minuscule because there aren't many blueprints for us. We are constantly having to make our own way despite the negatives. And even though there are so many negatives, I'm still making positives. Through Christ, I'm more than a conqueror, and in everything I will succeed.
Thank you for that, Hazel. Layla Duncan is currently an undergrad student in the social work program at FSU. Today, Layla joins us to share a seminar excerpt, Rediscovering Lost Values by Martin Luther King Jr. Please welcome her to the virtual stage.
Hi, everyone. In the year 1954, Dr. Martin Luther King gave this sermon in my hometown of Detroit, Michigan, at Michigan's Detroit Second Baptist Church. I'm only going to read a small excerpt, and it says, "All I'm trying to say is our world hinges on moral foundations. God has made it so. God has made the universe to be based on moral law. So long as man disobeys it, he is revolting against God. That's what we need in the world today. People who will stand for right and goodness. It is not enough to know the intricacies of zoology and biology, but we must know the intricacies of law. It is not enough to know that 2 and 2 make 4. We've got to know somehow that it is right to be honest and just with our brothers. It is not enough to know all about our philosophical and mathematical disciplines, but we've got to know the simple disciplines of being honest and loving and just with all of humanity. If we don't learn it, we will destroy ourselves by the misuse of our own powers." And this part of the speech just really stuck heavily with me because as a social work major, I have become a social justice advocate over time. And whenever I see anything that is unmoral, whenever I see any type of injustice when it comes to people of color, people facing homelessness, the LGBTQ community, I feel the need that I have to speak on it. These underrepresented populations are at a disadvantage, and there's a big power imbalance in the world today. And I feel like whenever I see it, I need to speak on it and I need to do something about it. Whether I can do something small by just raising awareness, or I can do something big by taking it to a higher power, creating something that can happen, that can just make a positive difference in the world. And as I graduate in May, and I'm really reflecting back on my time here at Ferris State University, I can really see my growth as a person. And I think back to all my classes where we have to talk about our ethics and our values. And it's really hard to think about on the spot when we're not faced with the ethical dilemma. So I just want to continue working on myself, and I challenge all of you to reflect on what's important and what's right to you and actually act on it, whether it be small or little. Thank you.
Yeah, so again, I do want to thank everyone for this evening. You all, that was wonderful. Sharnice, thank you for that selection. You all, thank you for your wonderful presentations, your thoughtful reflections of the presentations. I so wish we could do this in person, but I am so glad to see so many of you joining us virtually. Thank you again for everyone who just came to attend and to support. We appreciate you all as well. I am also going to let my wonderful coordinator, Chelsea Brownlee, say a couple of words to you all. And again, I would like to thank you, Chelsea, for putting together this lovely presentation for us this evening.
Thank you all for your presentations. You know, this was a real transformational moment for me. This is my first year coming back as a staff member at FSU. I used to be a student from 2011 to 16, and we always participated in the MLK tribute. I think with the turn of times, you know, still seeing you guys' participation virtually, it just really warms my heart. It's good to know that the mission is still going. We have fighters fighting this good fight, and I'm proud of you all for participating and just, you know, witnessing it. Even those that weren't in the tribute, just being here today is a part of the reflection process, and we're still growing and learning together, and I'm glad to be here with you all.